economy of time. One, hooks out, two, three, four. Okay, this is Sifu Wu Sao, comes backwards. That's how we use it. One of the ways we use it. So one is hooks out, and two, I don't need footwork. Why? I don't need footwork because this, I don't need power. This is good enough, right? You don't need it. So you're gonna go here, here. So this is called Fu Sao. And then look at Wu Sao on the V, facing, right? Opens the line, arrow. Now I'm gonna use my footwork and my Wu Sao on the V. Now my palm is aiming at his face. You see, economy. Because I didn't have to do this and then this and then this. It's already ready. So that's why I can do fast, you know. It's already, everything's set and ready. Like playing pool and leaving the pool cues, the ball set for the next shot in billiards. You leave this here, here. This was ready for this. This was ready for that. See, it's economy. That's why I use this one. So it's quick, you know. You can get the, you know, boom, 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 and that fast you have it. So it's one is Fuk, two is Wu Biu. Three, you can put footwork or not, I don't care. And four, Wu Sao Sudeng Tao, right? Wu Sao goes backward in Sudeng Tao. Wu Sao, and then Chun Dai Jian. Okay? Don't do this because it'll fall down. All right, ready?
Quel était votre objectif lorsque vous avez mis en œuvre l'énorme travail de création de supports écrits et audiovisuels détaillant votre enseignement?
Well, my primary objective was to document the system completely so that it can live on. As you can see by the way I developed my ranking system, you can see that it's very important to me that things carry on after I'm gone, or you know, from having lost my own teacher and realizing that, wow, he's not here anymore to answer my questions. And he's here, and he's here, but he's not there for me. So I thought, you know, for my students, I want to make sure, and for posterity, for the public, I want to leave a good record of all the things that I learned about the system, because I think it's so magic, it's so incredibly interesting and fascinating that I don't want it to die with me. I don't want it to, and I certainly don't want a situation where my students are split in different ways and arguing between each other. Who really learned the right thing? This is how we do Tansa. This is the, you know, not the way you do it, it's the way I do it. I want to standardize things to make sure that all the system is recorded for everybody, and it lives on. I feel like that's an important thing to try to. They say history belongs to the person that wrote the best books. That's that might be a bit odd for you to hear, but what it means is kind of like, it's almost like a dishonesty. Like, what really happened doesn't matter. What matters is who wrote the best account of what happened. So, you know, it's kind of sarcastic, really. It means, what it's kind of saying is, history isn't what you think it is. It's whoever made the best book, so that the future people read it and say, oh, that's what happened. Doesn't mean it happened. Well, I'm kind of trying to do that with Wing Chun, and I want to write the best books so that, you know, in 50 years or in 100 years, if people are still interested, that they'll go back and look at my material and go, well, this must be what Wing Chun was, because these are the best books. Now, I'm not saying mine are the best, but I tried. I tried to write the best books, because I feel like when it's all said and done in 100 years or 200 years, if it's people still want to learn, they'll go back and look at these old ancient, they'll take the book out and like in the movies, and they'll be like, oh, this guy this must be what it is, because this guy wrote the best books. So one triangle tip is about here, right? And the other one, the tip is about here, more or less. More or less. It doesn't have to be exact, right? But there's two triangles. So there's 4 ways to use the triangle. You can either push to the front triangle, which might be when you're packing the shot, which, by the way, I'm punching to the rear triangle. So I'm punching to his weakness and pushing to his weakness when I pack the shot. So you can, for example, push to the front triangle, or you can pull to the front triangle. Remember the Long Bridge Law? We pulled him to the front triangle.
On peut pousser ou tirer dans la pointe du triangle.
So you can push to the front, pull to the front. Or the same thing goes with the rear triangle. When I funds out, I'm really pushing to the rear triangle. So I can push to the rear triangle, or I can pull to the rear triangle. I can either push or pull to one or the other. So when I did I did the throw, I did some throw earlier where I kind of went like this. I'm pushing him to the rear triangle. See what I mean?
Pouvez-vous expliquer à nos téléspectateurs ce qu'est un bar member?
Yes. Well, first of all, it sort of sounds funny, a barn member. But the reason that my private students, my lifetime private students, are called barn members is because my home school in Pennsylvania is a barn. I have horses, I have a horse farm. So my horses live downstairs, and the upstairs is converted completely into a gym. And so it's in 3 sections. There's a weight room, exercise room with different weight training equipment and different machines that we use for training. And I even have some equipment that Ted Wong, my late teacher, gave me that he got from Bruce Lee. So I even have some of that equipment. And then in the middle section, I have a sort of a cage, which is a mat area for wrestling, grappling, ground fighting, and it's caged in. And then on the other side, the main floor is a big open space for training different exercises, drills, fighting techniques. And it has all the different equipment, speed bag, heavy bag. I use a lot of equipment that isn't traditional Wing Chun. Yes, there's wooden dummies in there. There's a stretching machine. There's sandbags on the wall. It's really like Wing Chun heaven, you could say. So that it's a barn, and that is why they're called barn members. So the actual question is, what is a barn member? A barn member is a person who has decided that they are going to be my student for the rest of my life, and that they are going to learn the system from me in the way that I've laid it down, and they're going to be my private student that has a lineage through me directly back to my teachers. And the barn members have certain privileges. A barn member, for example, can come and stay with me at my place for 2 weeks a year, and I train them for 4 hours a day. Barn members come to any seminars that I give around the world for free. And usually, my barn members, normally if another guy comes in from another country, my barn members will usually say, hey, you're the guy from Italy, you could stay at my house. Or, they kind of, everybody's friends and everybody kind of tries to help each other. So there's a kind of a brotherhood around the whole world as barn members. Even guys that can't speak the same language, they can still communicate with Wing Chun. You can take a barn member from Italy who doesn't speak English, and he could go to America or Romania or England or France, where he can't speak to the guys in a conversation, but he can join the class and do perfect because he knows the language of Wing Chun. So a barn member receives documentation from me, which is in the code. I've developed that code not only to abbreviate the teaching, but to record physical movement in a way that music is recorded. I created a system for recording movement. And also, it's sort of, if you lost your instructor's manual that I gave you, anyone else would pick it up and go, what's this nonsense? They couldn't even read it. It would be useless to them because they wouldn't know how to read the code. Once you read it, it's quite simple, but until somebody teaches it to you. So if somebody stole your instructor's manual or you left it on the train or something, it would be useless to anyone else. But you receive this instructor's manual, and the instructor's manual will have all the knowledge that I have about Wing Chun up to the point of your knowledge base. So if you're already a yellow belt with me, you don't have to be a barn member to become a yellow belt. But if you're already a yellow belt and you become a barn member, you're going to get everything that I know about Sifu Tao. It's all in the notes. Anything new that I create or learn goes into the notes, I modify it, and I mail it to all the people that deserve it. You'll also get everything I know about the next level that you're studying for to help you prepare for your next test on the Chung Q form, for example, if you were yellow. And when you achieve your red belt, which is your Chung Q belt, you will now receive immediately, the day of your test that you pass, you'll receive all of the notes for green belt, which is the first half of the wooden dummy form. And those notes literally contain everything I know about everything in the form. So, if you look at the notes for the green belt, it'll say, Biu Zhong Sao, the first hit on the dummy. Doesn't start there, but, and then you'll see in code everything that I know about Biu Zhong Sao, how it might be used in this way, as a block, as a bridging hand, how it might be used to escape from somebody trying to lock your arm in ground fighting, or 100 different ways to use it. But if I come up with some novel new way of using Biu Zhong Sao, over the weekend I'm sparring or fighting, or I watch a fight in the jail and I see something happen, I might say, you know what, let me just add that to the notes, and then all my guys that are red belt and below, or I should say all my guys that are green belt and below, will get that new set of notes in the email. So you're always up to date with me as I modify. In the old days of Wing Chun, in the 1970s, when I began, I think it was the 70s, we used to do the technique one way. And if you look at my videos from 1991, I still used to do it this way. This is the old way. Ball, lot fun, retrap, hit. That was the way we always used to do it. And some people still do it, but I don't. Ball, lot fun, retrap. That's the old way. Now what I found out is I put some armor on my student's neck, and I really chopped and I really hit. And what I found is that this pushes him away from my head. It didn't help me. Now in Chi Sao it helps. Why? In Chi Sao it's okay, because here, this will make him fall forward. So it's fine. But in stand-up combat, it's not good, because this only pushes him away from you. You guys know what I mean? So what I did is, how am I gonna improve that? So what I did is, instead of retrap, I double pull. And that's better for me. Because what I do basically is, I've spent my pull, it's finished now. And what I do is I pull him, and at the same time, I push him. And at the same time, I say, eat this while you're walking by me. and look at the facing I got. So that's why I like the double pull. So in the old days, remember, it was 1, 2, 3. And the harder I do it, the more he gets pushed away from me. So it looks good on paper, but in a fight, it doesn't work that good, I discovered. So I just said, well, this isn't working for me. So what I did was I changed things and I said, boom, isn't that better? He gets messed up. Okay, so that's the double pull. Now, you know, we did it already a bunch of times, right? A lot of techniques, you guys, I told you to do the double pull, but I didn't really explain it like that. So now we're gonna, remember I said pack the shot? I always say pack the shot. Tell them what I mean pack the shot.
Voilà, on a vu plusieurs fois le cas où il faisait cette double traction dans ce séminaire-là. Et vous vous rappelez, il avait ajouté ce principe de paquet derrière l'épaule. Ici, il avait expliqué à chaque fois, c'est comme quand je pack le tabac dans ma pipe.
You know, when you see me smoking and I put the tobacco and I pack it, this I think like, he's my tobacco. And this is my pipe. And I go, and I pack the shot. Right? Okay, so let's do a technique where we really emphasize the double pull.
En place.
What's important here is after Wu, don't step. Grab, and then you're going to pull him, and you're going to step and punch before your foot hits the floor. Say that in French.
Okay. Faites attention, lorsqu'il va tirer, il va lever la jambe et il va frapper avant que sa jambe ne revienne au sol.
And I want to see everybody pack that shot. So you're going to go Wu, and now you're going to, he's giving you no power. So you're going to give him some power so that you can borrow it. So you're going to pull him, and when he moves, you pick up your foot, punch before your foot hits the ground. So it looks like this. And you're going to actually whiplash him. See? You make him eat it. All right, let's do it. Ready? Yes, well, I don't want to say secret because nothing in Wing Chun is really a secret. The secret is hard work. And the secret is earning that knowledge. Because, you know, there's certain things that I could show a beginner and it would be useless to them and it would be hard to understand and pointless. They wouldn't even need it. But, so we could say that there are things that are quote unquote secret in the sense that you earn it. And certainly there is a lot of knowledge that isn't in my books and isn't in the videos, strictly for a couple of reasons. Mainly because there just isn't enough video time to cover everything. It's too huge. Wing Chun is just such a huge, comprehensive system. I already did 50-some videos, and you know, each one is an hour or two. You know, that's a ridiculous amount of time on film, but it's still, I couldn't possibly cover everything. It's partially that, and it's partially because I feel like I don't want to give every single thing I know to everybody. And so this is part of what I consider almost a legacy with the best books. History is going to belong to the guy that left the best students. So my students learn definitely quite a bit more than what is available in the books. And it's for practical reasons. You know, a book would have to be this big to have everything. You know, that's why I do that code. Everything that's in my books and videos, you know, if I put it into a book form written, it would be this long, but I had created that code which sort of abbreviates everything and makes it more compact. So there are things that my students will learn. So as I told you, I was talking to you about the forms. When I do my own forms, I do them differently than what I put in the videos. And what I put in the videos is correct. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing done incorrectly on purpose or that would be against the principles of Wing Chun. But there are certain trademark signature moves which I do myself that when I train alone. And then there are certain signature moves that I teach my students when they reach that level. So when you come to a seminar and we do Sudum Tao, we do it this way, we do Chumkyu, we do it this way. But when you reach your red belt level, you learn just something that you might not even notice the difference, but I know it. So that I can tell just by watching, I go, that guy learned from my video, that guy learned in a seminar, that guy learned from me. And so I guess to answer your question, yeah, there is a little bit different when you're my student, because, and another thing is, it's almost like you feel like you don't want to give your gold just to anybody who doesn't care or may actually even hate you or use it against you somehow. And so people kind of almost have to prove a little bit of loyalty to me before I'm going to give them everything, you know, rather than just give it out randomly like it has no value. Cut it in half, tan jut, okay? So he jabs, and I'm going to go tan jut. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Tan jut, but he's not moving. So I'm going to give him some power and hit him. Like this. So this thing, you know, we say in Wing Chun, and it's the letter G, Bo Lei Tao, Lin Fa San, Ti Q Sao, glass head,
Tête de verre.
yeah, the vidrio, body of cotton,
Corps de coton.
and forearm of iron.
Et les bras
Braccio di ferro.
en acier.
Avambraccio.
Sì, braccia di ferro.
So in this case, this punch, we're going to use any punch in Wing Chun, any punch, you could use this instead of this. For example, Yachi Chungkin, you can do this, or you could do that. Loi Doi Gakkun, you could do this, or you could do that. Moi Doi Gakkun, you could do this, or you could do that. So any punch. Chao Kun, you can do this, or you can do this, or you can do this. Use your forearm instead of your fist. So in this technique, anyway, that's not the point. The point is borrowing power. We're going to give him some power, and then we're going to take it. So we're going to go like this. Tan, jut, punch. Tan, jut. Okay, in the form, it's like this. When we use it, we close the fingers. In Pak Sao, in the form, it's like this. When we use it, we close the fingers. Right? So we're going to go Tan, Jut, Jut Sao, right? Go Jut. And we're going to, and we pull him, and we're going to go like this. Pull him, push him, pull him, push him, and then go, eat that, across the neck. Okay? This will make him lights out. Lights out London. I don't care who he is, because this has a nerve. Do this. Take your right hand and go like this. Do it. See how bad that sucks? Imagine. Whoa! It's bad. Trust me. Okay, so we're going to go Tan, Jut, punch. Very simple. And my footwork is going to be Tan, Jut. Look, once I get this, it is not, it is exaggerated. Okay? So it's Tan, Jut, boom! I call this packing the shot. Like when I smoke my pipe and I push the tobacco in the pipe, I pack the tobacco in my pipe. Okay? I pack the shot. So in this case, I'm going to, here, packing the shot. Okay? Let's try it.